All right, today on this 2008 BMW 5 Series, we're going to show you the CURT Class 1 inch and a quarter receiver hitch, part number C11498. All right, this is what the hitch looks like when it's installed on our 535 Xi. You can see the collar on the receiver here, which is an inch and a quarter, fits up right up against the bottom of the bumper. Has two nice rings for your safety chains for your trailer. This also uses a 1/2 inch hitch pin or your favorite locking hitch pin. Now the attachment points are right behind the bumper, all hidden behind the plastic here, so you do have to have access behind it, and you will have to modify this panel as well. But beyond that, everything goes towards the front and underneath the vehicle, where you really can't see it unless you're practically on the ground. All right, a couple other things to know is that this hitch is rated for 200 pounds tongue weight and 2,000 pounds pulling weight. You always want to double check your owner's manual to make sure that your vehicle can carry these kinds of weights. All right, next we'll go ahead and give you some measurements to help you out selecting some accessories, such as the bicycle rack or maybe even a cargo carrier. From top of receiver opening down to the ground will be about 12¼ inches, and from the center of a hitch pin hole to the outside edge of the bumper will be about 4 inches. All right, next we'll go ahead and show you how the hitch is installed on our BMW. Our first step in our install of our hitch is to go ahead and open up the trunk. We would need to remove the floor coverings and also the spare tire and all the accessories. Okay. Basically, we want to get down to the raw sheet metal because we'll be drilling through it. We don't want to damage any components inside. Now we need to get underneath the vehicle, and on the passenger side, we need to loosen up this panel right here. We'll start off using the fasteners that require a 10mm socket. All right, we'll need an 8mm socket for this fastener here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and loosen this panel up and pull it down. Okay. We just have to loosen this up. We don't really have to take it all the way down. While we're down here, we're going to remove these two plastic fasteners. We'll go ahead and try to work out the centers. We'll use a flat blade screwdriver to help get it started. Then I'm going to use a trim panel tool. All right, now we got to separate this panel from the outside of the bumper fascia here, and we can just pull on it to unsnap it. All right, now take this panel off. There'll be 3 other fasteners that are hidden from view when this panel's up. So pull out on the bumper cover so you can get down and pull it down a little bit, and you can see some studs right here. They originally had this kind of nut on here, which you'll need a 10mm socket for. And to get it started, I just reached in and just used the socket itself and just twisted it with my fingers to open it up. Same thing with the next one over. All right, so it's pretty tight up in there. You can see it by shining a flashlight through the openings on the bottom. This is really hard to get to. And then our last one is a little bit on the low side, and we can use a long extension to get access to that one. Then let's go ahead and just work the panel loose and pull it out. All right, now at this point we can go ahead and hold our hitch up in position and then mark it to drill our holes. Now, there's nothing really to hold this thing up in place, so you have to put some kind of support underneath it while you mark your holes. Okay, these 2 holes here are going to line up with the ridges that are built into the trunk pan. And it's definitely going to look offset from underneath. All right, now with our hitch securely supported by our device here, we'll go ahead and drill our pilot holes on the very bottom first. Now on these holes here, we're going to use a paint marker to mark our locations, and then we'll take the hitch down and drill out our holes. We'll drill holes on the bottom of the trunk pan as well for the fasteners going up towards the front. Then we'll go ahead and remove our hitch, and then from the inside of the trunk, we'll go ahead and enlarge our holes to their final hole size. Okay. In this case, the final hole size is going to be a 1/2 inch diameter. All right, now for holes drilled, we can go ahead and put in our hardware. The hardware we're going to install will be a slat block and also this carriage bolt. Now the hardware will be the same on all 4 holes. So before we install them into the trunk pan, we'll go ahead and apply some silicone sealant to make sure that the hole through the trunk pan is well sealed. Then we'll go back underneath the vehicle and put our hitch up into place. We'll use these 2 bolts to help hold our hitch up while we line the rest of the holes on the back side of a trunk pan closest to the bumper. We'll go ahead and snug those bolts up using a 3/4 inch socket. To our holes, we'll go ahead and add some more sealant. Alright, now we'll go ahead and install the flange nuts from underneath. At this point, we can go ahead and snug down our bolts for good and then torque them down as specified in the instructions. When we put our hitch up to mark the holes, we want to end up with this finished product right here, which is that this edge of the steel of our hitch will meet up to this rolled edge on the sheet metal just on top of a trunk pan here. All right, now at this point, we can go ahead and put back together our interior components. All right, now we need to go ahead and work with our panel here that we took off at the beginning. Now, basically to make this fit around the hitch, we're going to kind of have to cut it in half. So at this point, you might want to make the decision of leaving it off or putting it back on. In this case, we're going to go ahead and cut ours in half and put it back into place. So we'll hold it up as close as we can and line up the studs. With our paint marker, we'll go ahead and mark, and we'll go ahead and take it off, and we'll go ahead and cut it in half. Now I'm just going to use a simple rotary tool to make my cuts. All right, let's go ahead and put it back into place and see if we need to make any additional corrections. So it looks like right above this attachment point here, the hitch is going to interfere, so we'll take out a small section here as well. And we'll go ahead and install our original fasteners on the inside of the studs. We can actually reach it from the side. We'll go ahead and do our test fit on the other side here and make any corrections as necessary. All right, get our panels back in place. We'll go ahead and install some new plastic fasteners. In our case, since ours had deteriorated so much, it fell apart taking them apart. And we'll go ahead and reinstall original fasteners for our panel here. There it is. All right, with that'll finish it for the CURT Class 1 1.25" receiver hitch, part number C11498 on our 2008 BMW 5 Series.